Hello, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Real Talk. We have one of our panelists here, and the other ones will be joining soon. But I'm Rochelle Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and I have a fabulous co-host. And I am the owner and founder of Blissful Living, and basically I'm here to bring a message to all of us women that it is time for us to unite and have dialogue when it comes to issues affecting us women in society today. And that's really what me and Dr. Kim, my co-host, thought about when we decided to create this platform for women to come together and just talk and have candid conversations, no judgment, but be open as possible with regards to the topic of discussion. And so that is enough about me. I'm going to let Dr. Kim share her introduction.
Yes. Hello. Good to see everybody. Well, not really see you, but you see us. How about that? but good to have everybody back in the community. I'm Dr. Kim Brown Barber, better known as Dr. Kim, and I am the CEO and founder of Journey to Becoming. And we are here always to highlight, to celebrate, to educate, inspire, and inform you on your journey to your becoming. So we're excited about this evening, and I can't wait for our dialogue because we always have a good time. We're always dropping the mic at some point, so I'm sure we will do that again today. Back to you.
That's how we roll. And so
that's how we roll.
Let's go ahead and have our first panelist, Laura, introduce herself. And Laura, take a couple minutes to introduce yourself and to share with the viewers out there all about Laura.
Well, I mean, that could take forever, but to give you a little bit of it
already.
My name is Laura Weiner-Kaiser, and I work as a personal trainer, nutrition specialist, health and life coach, and I founded Change by Challenge because if it doesn't challenge you, then it's not going to change you. And ultimately, my mission has been to break our kind of conditioning to food specifically, because that's how I kind of got started with personal training and injuries and getting people to understand their bodies. And I got to see a lot of the body dysmorphia and how people were associating their worthiness to their body. And I'm like, no, that is not what makes you worthy. And it really took me into that whole mindset, health and life coaching to allow women to find what healthy is for them, embrace their body and what their balance looks like, regardless of a size, and let that conditioning go, but to create the empowerment of health, not a chore like health. So I am all about debunking a lot of this crap. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm going to say it. And stepping into personal power. That's my thing.
Love it. And you know what, actually, what you shared with regards to body dysmorphia and how women think their value is within their body, so to speak, how their body look, particularly today with all these youngins getting booty jobs and boobs and, all that stuff. It's not really them. It's just the aspect of, I think, I don't know. I don't want to put a label on it because, everybody has something different. But when you put value into how you look versus how you are, there's a big disconnection. So thank you for doing your work and allowing women, probably men too, to really step into understanding that it's not how your body looks, it's what's coming from your heart and your soul that counts, right? So thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. Like I said, we got a couple of other guests that should be joining us, and as they come in, I'll just pop them in the room, so to speak. But we do have eyes watching us right now. So I just want to get started and share a little bit about the topic. So let me put on my eyes.
All right.
Bam. Okay. So today's topic, or this evening's topic, is all about increasing harmony and prosperity. And so I have this, I always like to write things up because otherwise I talk too much and stuff gets lost in me talking, as you can tell. So,
girl, it's all good.
Right now, I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you what we are all about tonight, and so each other in all aspects of our lives. in this conversation, I'd like to explore the elements that enrich our lives and look for ways to increase joy. What are the key characteristics of healthy relationships in your life related to personal, social, workplace, political interactions? Our hunch is that we may find common threads between all of these areas, but common threads that are healthy as well as unhealthy when it comes to increasing harmony and prosperity, particularly with us women. So I want to open up the dialogue and I want to just say, ask you two with regard to the topic of our discussion this evening. When it comes to increasing harmony, and let's start with that one first, with regard to your inner circle, and then we'll move it out to the outer circle, so to speak. What is your priority when it comes to increasing harmony within your inner circle? Laura, we'll let you get started, and then we'll go on to Dr. Kim.
Okay. For me, it's a lot about knowing where I am, knowing my internal state and how I'm feeling, validating my space and not trying to fit in or fit a mold, but being authentic to myself, because I think for so long, when you're growing up, your parents are trying to teach you the way of the world, but sometimes you can get lost and misinterpret something because you're a kid. And you find, oh, if I do this and if I please people, I get love. And then all of a sudden you're not, being true to who you are, but you're pleasing others to get some sort of love. And I know I was definitely a people pleaser, and that was hard for me as I grew up. I felt like I wasn't really seen or understood. And when I really did step into my authentic space, even though it was scary and I thought that, certain people in my life might not understand or might not love me, I mean, I wasn't at a space of loving myself, and I had to really get there. So for me, internal harmony is loving myself, putting my emotional needs first, validating myself. And when I can come from a space of authenticity, I'm human and I might make mistakes, but at least I know I did so from a space of trueness to who I am. So for me, that's my internal harmony.
I love it. What about you, Dr. Kim? I'm sorry, we got somebody watching and they're asking questions. And
no,
let me
this
just bring
is good.
I think this is good because this person, I guess, we were talking about size, right, so to speak, and how women look at their body and have value within their body. Not our topic today, but because they brought it up, I'm going to address it. So the question was in the chat was, does size matter? And I said, not at all. And the person says, well, why not? And I said, because it's about the content of the person's character, not the way they look, so to speak. I've had some beautiful people that are really freaking ugly and don't want to deal with them. And then I have some really, as we would say in our society standards, not the most beautiful as people, but their heart and soul is so beautiful and it's so giving that it makes them and their appearance beautiful. So the next question was, what's a good size? I'm not really sure how that goes with our topic of today. But, again, it's about to address the question, what's a good size? It really is all about the person's character. And if you're trying to judge someone based on how they look and their size, then you actually have the problem, not them. So I'm just going to drop that right now.
Yeah,
but our topic
I think it's individualized, though.
Exactly.
I think it's individualized. You can't say, okay, this is the size. It depends on who you are, what you are, how tall you are, what you're comfortable with in you, on your body. It depends on so many factors. You can't just say, here's the perfect size. So when you see magazines that have that, you need to tear it up. Don't look at it, because that's not truth. It's going to be individualized for everybody. It's going to be different. What you can stand in your body, as far as how you feel in your body, all of that. You have to be confident in who you are, no matter what size you are. You still need to be confident in who you are.
And I might even suggest that your image should come from a space of internal harmony.
Yes.
And that's where you find it, what your balance looks like. It's not about fitting a square peg into a triangle hole. It's what's your internal harmony? What does that balance look like? And then seeing the size that you feel your best in.
Exactly.
I agree. So the comment following what we just talked about was the girls like you are few. And I'm like, I'm sorry that you know what, to me, that's a very sad state, because if there's so many women that are caught up in judging themselves by how they look body wise, I'll say I've had some people in my life had the most beautiful bodies, but were very ugly. So if women like us are few, then this is all the more reason why we need to share this show with everyone. And I forgot to say, if you love this show, please subscribe to it, because then you'll get notifications.
I love it.
Please subscribe to it, because this is how we get things and communicate dialogue. I mean, to me, somebody even asking that question has a little bit of deep digging and deep diving within themselves, right? To discover.
And we appreciate the question, you know, even though I know that's not our topic, we appreciate the question, because it came up, and that's what the Real Talk show is about, right? To be able to have these real conversations. So thank you for that.
Exactly. So thank you for the question. And please don't put value in how you look. Put the value in the content of your character and what is coming from your heart and soul, because when it's all said and done, people are not going to really look at how, when you die, people are not going to be like, oh, she had such a beautiful body. They're going to be like, yeah,
no doubt.
Bitch, right? Okay. She had a beautiful body. Bitch. However, if you have beautiful content of your character, they're going to be like, oh, she was a beautiful soul. And you want to be remembered that way, not by how you look. I mean, anyways, I'm digressing. Anyways, let's get back to harmony. Dr. Kim, tell us about your take on harmony within your inner circle.
Oh, I love it. Laura was right on point. It does come from you first. And I know you were talking about the inner circle, and I think that's the important piece, is that from the inner circle, it comes from you first, loving yourself, being able to be good to yourself, because if you're not good to yourself and love yourself, who is, right? But also, since you were talking about the inner circle, I would say also support being important. Right. Being able to have that support within that inner circle to bring that harmony, you know? So in other words, if one person is, and I think it has to be reciprocal, because part of harmony is balancing out, right? And it doesn't mean perfect balance. It just means balancing out, because it doesn't mean like, okay, wait a minute. I counted 5 times when I was helping you, and so now you go help me 5 times. It's just a harmony, right? You know what I'm saying? So in other words, it can't just be you pushing out and giving out and supporting your inner circle. And then when you need something, they're all busy and they're like, oh, see ya. You know, it has to be them being able to give back, so reciprocal too. So that's where I see the harmony coming in. It's also starting with you, but also being reciprocal and having that support within that inner circle.
Yeah.
I love it. That. So our beautiful question gal, subscribe. Thank you, girl.
Yay! We are here. Yes. Thank you for subscribing. Tell your friends.
She's beautiful. So this is what she said. She said, but when we teach our children things like that, they face the reality. They find something else. So how will we give them self-confidence to trust in their values? And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But thank you, Ali, because you're bringing up some good questions which are very relevant to today's society. So thank you. We'll touch more on that. And then she says,
and we actually talked about this on one of our shows too. So tell her, check out our shows.
Yeah, and since you're a subscriber, now you can go back and look at all the shows that we have, and we have a good time.
Yes,
so check them out, because we did discuss this, and I will touch a little bit more on it a little later. But she also says, I love cerebral girls like you. So that's all of us. So
yay!
Ali a mic drop on that one.
Drop the mic. All right, Ali, getting to drop the mic. I love it.
You're right.
When the community's getting to drop the mic, you know it's bad. But the community's getting to drop the mic. Yes.
He's bringing it. All right. So I love what both of you shared about the inner circle in harmony. And I'm kind of like, with regards to my inner circle, I'm kind of a little bit like Laura. I almost called you Dr. Laura. I'm kind of, everybody gonna be a doctor tonight.
Speaking into existence.
Right? I'll take it. But I am kind of like you, Laura. I'm the only girl in my family. And so, and when I say that, I say it with love for all my, my brother and all my cousins within my family, so to speak. But I was always into kind of people pleasing, right? It was expected of me to do certain things. I was the oldest in my family, and I kind of grew up thinking that my value was in pleasing people. So when I got going and started my first business and it took off and was making a lot of money, my thing was I'm a giver. Okay. And I was thinking that I'm giving to people, for one, because maybe I wanted a little acceptance, but for two, because I'm a giver and I just wanted to be given from the heart. What happened is that was taken advantage of. And so when I figured it out and it resonated, the little witch came out, so to speak. And I just realized that I have so much more to give rather than monetary things. So, so with regards to that, it was like, how do I create harmony now that I've created disharmony because I'm not giving like I was, right? And I just had an upfront, I'm kind of that kind of upfront type of girl, but I just had an upfront conversation with those that were like getting all twisted about it. And had not had that conversation with them, there would have been a lot of disharmony. And so basically what I'm saying is, for me, in my inner circle, I like to have conversations and I like to bring things to the forefront because you don't want anything stewing underneath the bubble, so to speak, the pot, because it'll be burning at the bottom, right? And so I'm not always the most sensitive. Oh, let me rephrase. I'm not sensitive at all.
This is called The Real Talk Show. Okay?
Right. And if any of my family's watching, be like, yeah, she ain't sensitive. She might be
somebody's, they be like, no.
Yeah, they're like, no, she don't like. I don't sugarcoat it, but I really am coming from a place of love, and that's just how I know how to be. So I think having those conversations where something has got you, feeling disharmonized, so to speak. Having those conversations for me actually helps to create more harmony going forward versus just letting stuff stew underneath and just burn the bottom of the pot. So thank you. Now we had another person pop in. She's having some difficulty. Lexi's having some difficulty getting in, and I'm not really sure why. But anyways, if she pops back in, I will definitely bring her up, so to speak, but it looks like she disappeared. So we'll just keep going. So with regards to the inner harmony or within our inner circles, what about when you got to step out of the inner circle, such as at work, and you need to bring harmony into that arena when it's not necessarily something that you want to do because you may not necessarily like those people really. Laura, go ahead.
Ooh, me first again. No.
You're the panelist. You're supposed to go first.
Honestly, Rochelle, I think what you said really resonated with me about, being sensitive. I think of it as, I've also been told I'm very direct. My father tells me all the time it's my greatest weapon and gift all at the same time. And I don't even completely understand what he means. But the way I look at it is I respect you enough to have an honest expression with you. And I respect that you can take it and you can handle it because I would rather have it to you than behind you. And I want to break that type of culture because it is from a loving space. And quite frankly, a lot of it is misunderstood. And for me in the workplace, yeah, it's uncomfortable. Sure, I don't necessarily like it. But at the end of the day, all I have is me. I can only be in my authentic expression. I can only control my stuff. I can only communicate my needs, how I see things going. And honestly, I'm human. So I'm free to ask questions to understand. Like, I hate judgment. So if you're doing something that doesn't make sense to me, I'm going to ask to understand before I jump into judgment and then try and have a conversation. But ultimately, if someone does impact my internal harmony, my navigation comes from a space at work, at home, you name it, from how do I need to act authentically so that when I reflect tomorrow, I can be proud of how I showed up. And that's really what guides me to embrace courage and have some of those tougher conversations. And they don't always go the way I necessarily want them to go, but understanding also at work, their role in my life and how much energy I'm giving to that and how much energy, sometimes I'm trying to seek that approval. Although I'm a reformed people pleaser, certain habits are try hard, and I'm not afraid to admit when I've made a mistake, but at the end of the day, a lot of these people are work friends. They aren't necessarily people who fill my life cup of love, and I want to help them grow and show them respect just like I would anyone. But the amount of energy I give depends on how much they also fill my cup. Just like you were saying, Dr. Kim, about it's not just about giving to those 5 friends and keeping track. It's about, will they give back? Will they have the respect for me? Will they have that type of honest expression and faith and respect for me to have it to my face? So
I want to ask you this, Laura, with regards to that, because you said, you're a reformed people pleaser. This is a good one. So since you're a reformed people pleaser, and you may have been surrounded by people at work that knew that your past was a people pleaser, when you stepped in to owning, wearing your shield of honor, so to speak, and being true to yourself and coming at them where it no longer appeared that you're a people pleaser, how did that go for you?
That's a great question. And
that is a good question.
I think I probably had a little bit of a smoother transition because I was still always direct with people because I viewed that as a sign of respect, not as me hurting someone. I thought it would be more painful for me to talk behind. So for me, I really am a giving, loving, compassionate person, but I've been told I'm intimidating my entire life because I do have that direct expression. So it actually made people feel more compassion and connection to me. And I saw people at work actually opening up more to me about certain situations. And, I remember an occasion where I literally had to sit down with an employee and be like, help me understand. What am I doing? Versus being like, you should do this. And you should do this was my boss, and he was here and me wanting to please him. But when I took the step into my authentic space, it allowed me to honestly speak more vulnerably, and it was scarier for sure. I think how people responded to me was actually warmer, with more connection and compassion. And that could be, my industry. I am in the industry of helping people. So a little bit more vulnerably and caring, I guess, made it that they felt that they could connect to me deeper. But I think the fact that I was a more direct person kind of gave me a little bit more of an edge in that mindset.
I love it. So they already knew that you were a direct person. And so when you went from being a people pleaser to stepping into your true light, you had already had that bridge, so to speak. So it was easy to make that transition over, which is great, because sometimes people get really, really twisted. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get our next guest in, and she can't. Oh, here she comes. I think I might have her. Oh,
it's thinking about it.
Lexi, if you can hear us, it's thinking, girl. Anyways, we'll let Lexi kind of come in, but I think that is something that is a beautiful thing to see within what you're sharing, because I think people watching us need to know this kind of stuff, right? Dr. Kim, what about you with regards to your work, folks? And having harmony within that. What would you say with regards
in that realm? Yeah. So I definitely understand where Laura's coming from, and I really appreciated her saying how before she judges someone, she asks questions, to be able to understand. And I think more of us need to do that, right? Ask questions instead of judging people, because sometimes it's the fact that we just don't have the context or don't know or don't understand. And I think it's great that she is able to do that. I think for me, when you go outside of my inner circle and you talk about more of the external workspace, it's a little bit different because at least for me, you navigate it a little bit differently because this is your job. So you have other parameters that are around that where you have to be able to you have policies, you have procedures, you have regulations. So it's certain things that you can and cannot do. HR will tell you that, right? So I think it becomes where within your parameters you work it where it's coming from your true self, right? But you still, for me, you still have a kind of a little shield because you can't take it all the way down because of those parameters that you have HR and everybody putting you in that that you have to make sure that you keep, but you still have your authentic self that shows up in the meetings. You still have your authentic self that works with the coworkers and does different things, but maybe how you approach conflict may be a little bit different. And then, just like I think Laura was saying earlier too, I also am, going to try my best. Not all the time this has been the case, but I'm going to try my best. I'm not going to take it home, right? I'm not going to take it home, which is different. When you have the inner circle, you gonna take that home because that's with your friends and families that are right in that inner circle who know you. They know you know them, and so it's very different. So I think it just that harmony ends up being still showing up as your authentic self, but being able to navigate in whatever industry, because I think every industry is different too, just like Laura was saying, the industry she's in. And I think every industry is a little bit different. So I think just navigating your true self within the industry that you're in, but still being able to have the wherewithal to not take that home, not have that energy to be spent on just taking it home and just agonizing over it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we have our second panelist, beautiful, my baby girl, Lexi. Not really my baby girl, but she's my baby girl, Lexi. And Lexi, hi, beautiful. We've been having dialogue about harmony and prosperity, but I want you, this is Dr. Kim and Laura. I want you to share a little bit, do a little introduction of you and what you do so that people seeing us can know what you are and how you roll, girl.
Well, thank you, Mama Rochelle. Hello, ladies. Thank you for bearing with me. Technology and me are not really good friends, but we're getting better. So we're here. I am a journalist. I actually have my own podcast as well. It's called broke through that industry, I guess, like late 2019, right before the pandemic hit us. I went to school for journalism as well. And I've worked in the fitness industry for a really long time. I kind of found myself there, falling in that realm, I guess, because that's how I was my whole life, just really into working out. But I love sharing stories, telling people stories and sharing stories. I love a good get it out the mud story is what I like to call it. So anybody who's out there pursuing something, their dreams, trying to live their best life, I'm all for that. Anything that, just going after it. So that's pretty much the path that I'm on right now. And when Rochelle came to me and asked me to be on here, I was so honored because what better than to talk with a bunch of strong, smart, independent ladies about bettering ourselves.
I love it. Okay, so girl, I'm putting you on now. So we're talking about harmony in our inner circle. We were talking about it in our inner circle. And then with regards to, our outer circle, so to speak. And so tell me or share with us and the viewers with regards to, having harmony and creating and having that synergistic harmony, because I know you got a lot of people in your circle. How do you handle and navigate that with regards to your inner circle? And then I want to hear how you navigate that, like with regards to, your work circle.
Right. Inner circle, I would say establishing boundaries, kind of right off the jump. Establishing boundaries are really, really important in your inner circle. I think that people can get comfortable without, not on purpose, get comfortable with doing certain things or having a certain behavior. And when you set those boundaries right away, I think it keeps things more copacetic with everybody, the relationship. what you're okay with, what you're not okay with, and vice versa, being able to receive that and take that information from them as well. So I'd say setting boundaries. And for more of the bigger circle, I would say honestly the same thing. But as I'm getting a little bit older, I've learned to not put myself in situations where, you know, sometimes things are sent to destroy your peace, and it's all about how you react to that. So I try to avoid putting myself in those situations. I currently work in nightlife in Hollywood. I've been working there for like the last 4 or 5 years. You know, it pays really good. That's pretty much my thing with it. But I do work with a lot of people and a lot of personalities, a lot of strong personalities, a lot of arrogant personalities. And so that's really difficult to challenge too. But I think everyone really just wants to be heard and wants to kind of be seen. So usually when I approach it that way, it's better, more understanding and empathetic, but it's tough. It can really get tough, especially in that industry.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Thanks, Lexi, because it is interesting, and I like how you shared like creating boundaries. Like, you know, Laura, she shared she's a direct person, and you know, she was a people pleaser, and when she decided to not become a people pleaser anymore because she's always been direct, she had a little bit of an easier bridge, you know, with those that she rolls with, so to speak. Versus if she wouldn't have been direct and then went from being a people pleaser to this direct chick, you know, it would have been all twisted. You know how that goes. So thank you for sharing, because you do. I know what you do, and I know you're surrounded by lots of personalities, celebrities, and everything.
Oh, and, yeah.
And it can be quite challenging. So now I want to bring this back. We talked about the inner circle. We talked about, you know, our outer circle, so to speak, is work. But with regard to harmony, how do you ladies keep harmony within yourself? What do you do to make sure that you stay in that harmonic space within yourself? And Lexi, go ahead and share what you do with regards to that.
I meditate, actually. I do. I meditate, especially I have ADHD. So yes. So I have ADHD. So I run off of really high energy a lot of the time, and as you can tell, and I'm like hyper. So sometimes I just need to calm it down, bring it down a notch, and get my thoughts and my energy kind of like sound. So meditation is really, really important and crucial. Yeah. Prayer. It's honestly just prayer too. It's a little bit of both. For me, meditation and prayer are synonyms. They kind of go hand in hand. So if I'm sitting there, I'm meditating, I'm talking to God, kind of just calming myself down and bringing myself back to that calm place. Yeah.
I love it. What about you, Laura?
I have a few tools. I meditate as well. I kind of find there's times that it's exactly what I need, and then there's times that it like just isn't as effective, just depending on what I'm going through. So if it's not the right answer, a lot of times I'll journal and just try to give myself that space to validate myself and feel heard. And one of the newer practices that I learned in my life coaching schooling is, it kind of sounds dorky, but talking to like my inner child. Because, you know, a lot of our conditioned habits happen before the age of 8. So I kind of just have like this picture of myself in my head of me being 8 and just kind of try to let that deeper space tell me what's going on. And when I do give myself the space to like feel and kind of turn inward, it definitely is very peaceful and like just allows that authenticity and that release of harmony.
Love it. What about you, Dr. Kim?
Well, a little bit of everything that everybody said, like Lexi's talking about the meditation and prayer, that definitely is like first on my list, right? But one of the other things that I do, and it's funny, is I ask myself, like, you know, what are you upset about? You know, what were you expecting that didn't happen? I start to kind of like go deeper so I can understand, why am I feeling this way? Like, it's like, okay, first of all, I try to identify, like, what am I feeling? Am I feeling hurt? Am I feeling mad, sad? You know, what is it? Frustrated? What is it? And then I say, okay, what was I expecting? What was different? What are you upset about? Or what are you mad about, sad about? Whatever the emotion is. And then I start to kind of break it down. And then once I'm able to break it down, then when I go meditate and pray, it becomes a lot easier for me to hear. Because then when you're frustrated and mad, you're like, oh God, and it's like, okay, no, whatever it is that you're upset about is like, let me identify it first. And then I can kind of pray and meditate about it. And it seems like I can hear better.
I love it. So you guys are, you ladies are all in tune. So when I need to keep harmony within myself, I meditate. I've been doing that since I was a teen, about 13 years old. I pray. And one of the biggest things for me is to reconnect with being harmonized within myself, because I'm all about that energy, is I go to the gym and I work it out. So if I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm on a bitch roll, so to speak, I know I need to go to the gym. I mean, I go a lot, 3, 4, 5 times a week anyways, but I find that when I'm feeling that some kind of way, when I go to the gym, it's just like, it's so very therapeutic, because it takes me out of the element of being disharmonized and completely restores harmony back to me. But I was talking to a lady a couple weeks ago, and she dropped a mic bang on me, and I was like, oh. She said that when you are having those issues, it's really ego-based, right? It's really because our ego is always trying to protect us. It really does. As crazy as it seems, it really is trying to protect us. So you think about the most egotistical person and it's really because their ego is really trying to protect their inner child, so to speak, from disharmony. She says what you do is, because it's the ego, she says, take a step back. And she goes, so like, Rochelle, you may have been upset because whatever, something happened and you upset and I'm acting out, right? I'm being that chick. And she says, take a look and step outside yourself and look at it as this way, okay, here I am, I've stepped out of myself. Rochelle's having a moment. And that's all it is. And she goes, when you take yourself out of it, you take the ego out of it, and you're able to see what's going on, and you're able to navigate through it better. And so I had an instance where, I was flying back from Mexico somewhere, and I was just getting really frustrated with the processes that was not necessarily coming in, but just, what was happening with people on the airplane, and just crazy. And I was feeling myself getting ready to go, like just have this straight attitude. And that her words, like, take yourself out and look at you from outside of yourself. And I'm like, okay, Rochelle, you just having a moment. It's okay, but you just having a moment. And the moment I did that squashed that disharmony, because I couldn't sit there and meditate. People look at me like I'm crazy. I don't know if I have my shades and my mask on, they can't really see, right? But it's like amazing. Or like when somebody cuts you off, we in California, I get a little twisted sometimes. Like, really? Or, they cut you off and they get in front of you and drive real slow.
That
right there. That right there.
And so then I want to speed around into my little souped up car and get in front of it. And I'm like, okay, that's crazy. And it's like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And so it was like, that was such a game changer. It was like, it's so simple to do, but it's a game changer. And a lot of times it is, because we're in that stage when we're having that and allowing that disharmony, ego-based disharmony to infiltrate our lives. And so I thought that was just beautiful. So I thought I would share it. But I want to move on and ask you ladies, when it comes to key characteristics in a harmonized and healthy relationship, whether it's your inner circle or your outer circle, what do you identify as the healthy pathways with regards to keeping that harmony synergized? Laura, how about you go?
I would say it's a great question. I would say honesty and respect and humility are big for me, because I am a very direct person, and I don't want to guess how you need me to communicate with you. If I'm doing something that offends you, I feel it's your responsibility to communicate that with me. And I'm imperfect. I recognize I'm direct. So you tell me, and girl, I will learn how to communicate better with you. It's just how I've learned to communicate is direct, because I find it causes less misunderstandings, but I accept that's not for everyone. So for me, it's having the respect for who I am to bring your issues to my face, talk to me about it. And I view that as respect. And, you know, if I've done something that bothers you, or even if I haven't, just having the courage, I guess, as well, to be honest with me about how you're feeling about what I did, but also being able to own your stuff and your mistakes, and having some, you know, humility within that. You know, I don't really feel like it's as much about whether I like or dislike someone, but it's more that, do I trust you to express yourself to me honestly, to respect me, and to own your stuff when you make a mistake, because that's what I expect of myself.
Oh, I love it. Love it. What about you, Miss Lexi?
I would say, well, it's interesting that you were talking about ego-based. I think innately as humans, the first thing is always the ego-driven reaction or ego-driven response to something, and that's, you have to take that moment to like sit back and be like, whoa, don't go there, don't do that. So I think that kind of goes with as far as a characteristic, accountability, being able to take accountability and recognize when you have those moments, or when you are being direct and this person maybe doesn't receive the direct responses so well. You know, everyone's different. So I think taking accountability is huge. Being able to admit when you're wrong, or being able to admit when you can improve, like Laura said, I think is cliche, or maybe I should say, is simple as it sounds, communicating. You'd be surprised at how many people don't actually communicate with each other, because we're all growing, and we're not growing at the same rate, and we're not growing at the same time. And that doesn't mean that you can't cohesively exist and get along and so forth, but you have to understand that, you know, and communicate that. You know, I'm at this phase and you're at this phase, and maybe this makes me frustrated because of this and this. You have to communicate that, because you're going to constantly, whether it's significant other, family, friend, you're going to be growing at different rates. So I think that communication is important.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. And respect. I live off of respect. I was raised like that, just respecting people, because that's what you would want as well, you know. So never want to invalidate anyone's feelings, right?
Right.
Exactly.
That's a key, because their feelings are real to them.
Oh yeah.
Look at it like, oh my God, really, girl, please.
Yeah.
But it really is real to them, or really.
Yeah, it's reality for them. Yeah.
It's real. What about you, Dr. Kim?
I mean, they have covered a great ground, like all of that, right? Respect, big, that's huge. I mean, to me, you need to respect human beings, human to human. I tell people, you know, a lot of times in the different issues that we look at and see in our world, it's a human issue. It's not a this color, that culture, this gender, that sexual orientation, whatever. It's a human issue. And so I think if we show respect for one another, then we can be able to coexist. Because, you know, I don't care how many people you think you're going to go kill, or going to have it look like they've been, you know, doing whatever. You're not going to get rid of everybody. So you might as well learn how to coexist. So, you know, my point is, and that would be the more humane thing to do, is to learn how to coexist. And I think it becomes an issue when we think that just how, you know, well, I don't like somebody. Well, and it's because you don't understand the person that you don't take time to understand them. Just like I think Laura was talking about, you know, being able to take time to understand where people are coming from and be able to communicate, even like Lexi was saying. But I think the respect is the key, and being able to show that respect continuously, and being able to communicate with each other to learn more, like Laura even said earlier, asking questions to understand better as opposed to judging. So I think it goes back to even that as well. But I think, again, that's huge for me, is being able to have respect for one another. I may not agree with you, I may not, whatever, but I can still respect you.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I may not agree with your opinion or how you see things, but I can respect you for that, and that's what makes up the human collective. Like you think about your body, you know, your heart may not agree with the kidneys, but they got to work in. They got to work in
They gotta
harmony to get the
coexist.
job done for our body, right? You know, so I mean, it's in every aspect of our essence, so to speak. So I love what you ladies are sharing. Now I'm going to shift a little bit because it was supposed to be about harmony and prosperity. So I'm going to shift to prosperity because we're running out of time. But with regards to prosperity, as a woman, in this, I'm getting feedback. As a woman in this is today's society, when you think about prosperity, what exactly does that mean to you, Lexi?
Equal opportunity.
I love it.
Honestly, I think we've come a long way. I think we have a long way to go. I'm in an industry, and I'm speaking as far as like the journalist industry. I feel like is a male-dominated industry for the most part, right? It kind of always has been. And you see a lot of just inequalities within that. And I think I don't want to make an excuse because you have that drive and you want to go after something and you really want it bad enough, you'll get it. But I would say equal opportunity is a big one. Yeah.
What about you, Laura?
Definitely what Lexi said, equal opportunity for sure. But outside of that, I would say a little bit of fight within you and belief within who you are to fight for that equality if it's not there, and push until you kind of get a little bit more of what you deserve in, you know, the right respectful type of way. I feel like it's a weird puzzle you have to kind of navigate, but you got to believe in yourself and what you can do and fight for what you're willing to create, because if you're not willing to fight for it, then, you know, probably don't really deserve it. And I feel like we see these walls and we just like, oh, that's a wall. Like, no, break that freaking thing down. Get through that.
Right.
So,
Ready? Oh,
yeah.
I agree.
What
What about you, Dr. Kim?
Yeah.
No, I think that's good. All of that, you know, definitely, you know, being able to have an equal opportunity for sure. But also, I would say access and knowledge. So access is, you know, even though you have the equal opportunity, I think access is missing for a lot of people, and knowledge of the access, right? Sometimes it's like, oh, well, the door's been right there. You just don't have the key to get in, right? So, you know, the knowledge of it and how to get through it. So, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. You know, let me ask you this with regards to prosperity. Do you think prosperity is all about the monetary gains we create or make or strive to get, or is it something more? Has it evolved into something more beyond just, you know, the money, so to speak?
Well, I can answer.
Go. Whoever wants to take it, go.
Is Lexi frozen?
I'm like,
oh, there she goes. I think she's frozen.
Did I freeze? I'm sorry. For me, I think, I mean, we live in a capitalist country. Obviously, money's important, and we want to be able to have the freedoms that money brings. But I think doing something that is more so fulfilling versus making a lot of money, or fulfilling to me, like I have a purpose.
I agree.
Like that. I really like that. I think that's beautiful. I think a lot of times when it comes to prosperity, we do live in a capitalistic society, and everything is focused on money, so to speak. But you know, there's prosperity in having good health, and there's prosperity in having a circle of people that love you for who you are. And there's prosperity in being able to help others, whether it's monetarily or you know, donating time. All of that to me is encompassing prosperity. But in our society, prosperity is all about how much money you have. Or let me rephrase that. It's all about the perception is it's about money, but there's wealth, and wealth and prosperity mean different things to different people, because when you think about it, all four of us here are very prosperous. We may not be making money like the Kardashians, who are so superficial, so to speak, but we may not be making that kind of money. But the fact that we're still able to get together, we're still able to do what we want to do at our level that we can do it, shows that we are prosperous in our lives. We've come a long way. I know I have, and I know you ladies have too. So to me, that is the whole encompassing of prosperity. In addition to, I like to make a lot of money too, but
sure,
that's not what the whole focus is on.
Exactly.
So I love this. Okay, I think we got time for one more question.
Yep, you got one more.
When it comes to having, okay, I'm gonna tie these two together. When it comes to having harmony and prosperity with those that you roll with, so to speak, or those that you want to connect with, what do you feel strengthens that bond when it comes to harmony and prosperity? Strengthens it like gorilla glue, so to speak, that it is unshakable and can't be broken. Laura.
I think it's a very personal answer to everyone. I think everyone's going to have kind of their own thing. Personally, I'm an empath, so like I feel what people are feeling. So if I'm feeling it and you're not talking about it, that doesn't mean I'm not feeling it. So for me, like having those deep, honest, vulnerable conversations and having the trust within each other, like that is like warrior freaking spirit. Like I'm your girl, you're mine. Let's go fight someone just because you can. Like, like it's a level of fulfillment and just, I don't know how to express it. Just true, genuine joy and deep connection. That's it for me.
That's it.
What about you, Miss Lexi?
Yeah, Laura kind of nailed it with that for sure. I mean, she did. There's not much to add to that, but you want to be able to call that person and be like, all right, I need your help. And then be like, okay, where are we burying the body? You know, like straight up, you want that person to be, obviously you want that honesty. You want that, for them to call you out when you're wrong. But at the same time, a lot of the times you need someone there to support you and you need someone to have your back. And that feeling is unmatched, once you have that. And then you can receive criticism, so to speak, a little bit better. You can receive that honesty, that directness a little bit better once you feel like, you really got my back, really in my corner. And I think that's what it's all about is knowing that person's in your corner. My dad always told me this growing up, I'm loyal to a fault, and he's always like, well, I hope that what you do for people, they would do for you, because you'll go to war and I hope that person's in your corner too. And that's an unmatched feeling. Like I said, you just want to know that person's there and is going to ride with you.
Ride or die.
Ride or die.
Ride or die. And luckily, I know you will go to bed. I know you know.
Your daughter is my best friend. You already know.
So I already know. Like, Lexi be like, okay, where they at? Where they at? Let's go. But I think that as women, when we are connected together and we're in harmonizing energy and in that prosperity of love and compassion and being real, being able to no smoke screens, no fake stuff, just being your real authentic self. I think that is just a really beautiful way to strengthen our relationships. And that's why it's so important for me to take this and just share this with women around the world, because so many times we just get disharmonized for something that is so simple to fix. It's just really boils down to having that open dialogue and being accepting, stepping outside of ego and allowing you to receive or give what is necessary at that moment in time. And I think when we're able to do that around the world, we will begin to unite and be able to change some things, because there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to be changed here in the world, period. And I think that's a beautiful place for us to start. All right, ladies, but we've come to our time. It has been amazing with you.
Amazing.
Love you. And Dr. Kim, what would you like to say as we end this session of Real Talk?
Well, I just want to let everybody know that we are so happy that we had Lexi and Laura here because they brought it.
Thank
They brought
you.
it.
I was so
And
happy.
our write-in, whoever our write-in, what's our write-in person's name? I forgot her name. Eileen. Ali, thank you so much for being a part of this. And we appreciate you. Love yourself. Be good to yourself. Because guess what? If you don't do it, who's going to do it?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And Ali, I have to apologize. I did say we would get back to the whole body image thing, but we, you know, if you've been tuning in and you've been watching us, you know, we were having a really beautiful conversation about harmony and prosperity. Maybe that will come up again, but again, go back and look since you've subscribed. Go back and look at the shows because we did address that in one of our previous shows. And you know, again, if you're watching us, please share this show with everybody. Tell women and men, but share this show. Men watch this as well and have chimed in. And I think the more that we can bring things like this to us women and men, the better it is for all of us, because it gives us a platform where we can be open and honest. And, you know, we're not going to always agree, and that's okay. It's okay. Yeah. But in the middle of all of that is nothing but pure love, and the essence of pure love. And that's what it's all about. And when we can get to that place, then we can begin to spread it out like melted butter on popcorn.
Now you're making me hungry. Stop.
But like melted butter on popcorn, it just flows and coats so beautifully that it becomes such a yummy essence in our society. So I want to thank you, Laura. I want to thank you, baby girl Lexi, Dr. Kim. And I'm Rochelle, the queen of feeling fabulous. And so, again, if you like the show, please share it with everybody and subscribe.
Subscribe.
That's right. Do it. All right, everybody.
Subscribe, share if you care.
Yes. Thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Yes, our pleasure. Thank you.